What's up, guys? Today, I'm going to be reviewing and talking about Crusader Kings 2.
Crusader Kings 2 is a classic game of grand strategy that simulates the political intrigue, war, and rampant child murder of the 8th century. But above all else, CK2 is a game about people. Yes, about people. Not kingdoms or wars, but about people in positions of power. And it is an absolute classic and one of the greatest strategy games of all time. Now, who created this masterpiece, you might ask? Paradox, of course, a Finnish developer. Oh, it's Swedish. Well, they're the same thing. Now it makes sense. Who else besides Swedish people would create a game that allows familial murder, infidelity, and being able to commit genocide with a click of a button? And you know the studio is legit because they have the word development in their title. Because only calling yourself a studio just isn't cool anymore. Well, enough praise for the ABBA development studio. Let's get into the meat of this game, and that's the gameplay, which ranges from religious politics, intrigue, war, to council management and technological development. Crusader Kings 2 has it all, and it comes together to form a complex, delicious medieval cake. As a lord or a chieftain, your first goal is to ensure you have an heir, which is normally given to you, and by heir I mean a male, because in CK2, if it isn't a male, it's an abortion. If no heir exists, then say goodbye to your game, as the realm you rule will fall out of your hands and your family's hands and go to some other pretender, or as I like to call it, dickhead. As well as having an heir, every king needs a council, and your council will need to be composed of people within your realm, preferably by people who have the stats for whatever specific goal you are assigning them to, or people you just seem to like. And this is where CK2 shines, as you can elect courtiers to positions such as Marshal, Chancellor, Court Chaplain, Spy Master, and Steward, again, basing it off of the stats that they have for each individual position. Your council are responsible for many tasks such as training troops, collecting tax, or converting a populace to your realm's equally ridiculous religion. And if you think all of that is intimidating, then wait, because there's more. The game forces you to diplomatically approach aspects within your kingdom, outside of it, and even within your own personal life. Essentially what all that means is that yes, you're gonna get a headache, and you're gonna be kinda fucked. But these concepts are easy to understand, such as trying to exterminate a religion that has appeared in your kingdom, or going to war with Surströmmingastan, or even marrying your children, to keep the bloodline pure. This is why this game does it better than any other strategy game, as there are so many ways to scheme and diplomatically approach things. Whether it be by marrying off your daughter for an alliance or plotting against your general because he wants you dead. All these things can be done, and they have consequences. Another important aspect of CK2 is management and power, because it will slowly dawn on you that you can hire people, fire them, throw them in jail, and then kill them, and all of this is important and has real game consequences. If you jail or execute someone without cause, your vassals will dislike you, as they should. Same goes for executions if they are not warranted. You can get positive opinions of vassals by giving them titles, arranging marriages, exchanging your culture for their culture, or converting to their religion. It's good to keep them happy because if they don't like you, they will revolt. And holy fuck do they like to revolt.
I have claims that are mine. Let's start a faction against the king. You haven't ruled for a long time, so I hate you.
It's never ending, especially worse when you're an empire or a pagan who's taken over a different religion or culture. These things need to be approached strategically in order to quell down these revolts. Do you murder everybody or do you diplomatically approach things? It's up to you. It's crazy when you realize that the game engine and AI brings forth such possibilities and intrigue from characters within your realm. NPCs are killing, plotting, converting, and marrying with one another. Even other players you have no connection to in different kingdoms are playing their own game for their own political, religious, or personal goals. And the possibilities are absolutely staggering. And that is the beauty about this game, is that the goals are really set by the player and the NPCs, and not the game itself. Another fun aspect about this game is the religious politics, something that is sorely lacking in a lot of other strategy games set on the same time. I will use one example because there are many religions in the game. For instance, as a Catholic ruler, it is crucial to bribe the Pope. Yes, I shit you not, you need to bribe him to like you more. If this is not done, then your vassals will not like you and neither will your neighboring Catholic countries. The biggest reason to pay the Pope is that he gives you claims, he can excommunicate, and he can start crusades, and he's the only way to divorce your wife, so you better pay the bastard. Contrasted by this are the other religions, some lacking a religious head, some having them. All rulers of a realm are tied down to a religion, which gives rise to a different gameplay style or approaches to politics and generally how one manages their empire, kingdom, or plot of land. Now that we have covered the good, let's talk about the bad, because when CK2 gets bad, it gets really bad. The graphics are one of my biggest problems with this game. They look terrible for something that came out in 2012. I mean, look at it. I'm getting eyesore just looking at this thing. This problem becomes more apparent the first time you play, because if you're playing this for the first time, chances are you'll be doing nothing else but staring into the game for one iota of information to tell you what the fuck might be going on. This game is the epitome of Swedish learning curve. It took me 2 weeks to learn how to play this game, and even then I didn't know what the hell I was doing for half the time. I've spent 300 hours on this game, and I'm still not getting certain aspects, such as title distribution, religion, and claims. You know why it'll take you forever to learn this? Because the tutorial neglects explaining the subtle aspects of these mechanics. You'll play for hours on end until suddenly your kingdom that you worked so hard for is being given to that low-born homosexual courtier. Why? Well, fuck you. You figure it out by scouring the fucking forums hours on end. And you know what really pisses me off? The worst part, the absolute worst part, is how many DLCs there are. They truly are nickel and diming us. The Vikings used to rape and pillage, but after seeing this DLC list, I think rape and pillaging is still going very strong in Sweden. If I were to buy all the DLC right now, it would be around $300. I'm not joking. $300. I mean, what were they thinking? Mongol faces? I don't think anyone should ever pay for Mongol faces ever. The majority of these DLC should have been in the game in the first place. Now, despite its shortcomings, Crusader Kings 2 is one of the greatest games ever made, and you should go out and buy it. Like right now. Do yourself a favor and buy it right now. If I were to give it a score, I would give it an 8 out of 10. That's really good, because unfortunately its shortcomings are quite apparent. But regardless, you're going to get a great, rich, deep, strategic experience.